Hello, how are you? I've got a very strange story to tell you now. This is a story about a girl who lives on the other side of the road, and she's only about 6 years old, but the other day her mother came into her and said, do you know what? Something really bad has happened. Your grandmother, she's ill, and you're going to have to take these things to her. And her mother had made some little cakes for her, some little cakes with little blueberries on top and bits of whipped cream, and she's also got some grapes. So she put some grapes in this little basket and a little cup of lemonade with the lid on so it didn't spill on the basket. And the girl said, oh, but Mum, it's quite late, it's quite early, I was up late last night, I was watching TV, and can I do it later? And the mum said, no, your grandmother's very ill, you've got to go now, quickly go. Oh, so the girl went, oh, she okay, I'll do it if I have to. And she got out of bed and she put on her jeans and her t-shirt and then her favourite shoes, and then she put on her red hoodie, because she had this red hoodie over her head like this, a red hoodie, and it was her favourite hoodie and she used to wear it all the time. That's why they called her Red Hoodie. So this girl, Red Hoodie, went out of the house with the little basket of good things, and she went down the road and she walked up the other road to where the woods are, and then her grandmother, she lives right on the other side of the woods. She was walking along and it was all okay, but then she thought, well, do you know what, maybe I should just have a relax because I'm still quite tired. So she sat down on a bench for a bit and she looked in the basket and she thought, oh, all those things look really nice, I wonder if I should taste some of them. But then she realised if she tasted some of the goody yum-yums, then it wouldn't be very good, and her grandmother would get sad and her mother would get sad, and mother would say, you've been stealing your grandmother's food, it's not good enough, you know. So Little Red Hoodie, she sat on the bench looking, and then she thought, oh, I better get going. Maybe when I get to grandmother's house, if she's really, really ill, she will offer me some of the goodies, because she might say, oh, I'm very sick, I don't feel like eating. So this is what she was thinking. So she stood up and she was just walking along. All of a sudden she heard a sound behind her. She got a bit frightened. What's that sound? She looked round and there was a wolf. But it looked very friendly. It was quite a friendly wolf with a big smile. Hello, little girl, said the wolf. Hello, Mr. Wolf, said Little Red Hoodie. How are you today? And the wolf said, I'm good, thank you. How are you? It's a nice little basket you've got there. What's in your basket? I'm going to see my grandmother. She lives over on the other side of the woods. She's a bit ill. And I'm going to see her because I've got these treats. I've got some little cakes with blueberries on top, and then I've got some grapes, and then I've also got this little cup of lemonade because my grandmother, she loves lemonade. The wolf said, okay, have fun. And then the wolf backed away, but wolves, they're sneaky, and this wolf knew what it would do. And what it was planning to do was this. It was going to go the shortcut, run through the woods. And it knew where the grandmother lived. So it went, and wolves, they run very, very fast. Much faster than Little Red Riding Hoodie could ever run. And actually she was just walking like this through the woods. Looking at the trees, watching the butterflies, smelling the flowers. Anyway, the wolf ran ahead and got to the grandmother's house first. Knock, 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 knock. Hello, who is it? Because actually in the woods they didn't have mobile phones. There were no mobile phone signal and anything. So grandmother didn't know that Little Red Riding Hood was on the way, because Little Red Riding Hoodie's mother hadn't had a chance to text and send a message and say she's on the way, because they didn't have phone, not even a landline. Not even a normal old phone, you know, beep, 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 old-fashioned phone, not even one of those, because it was way out in the woods, no electricity. She had just candles and a little wood-burning stove for heat. Who could it be? I'm a bit poorly. It's only me, said the wolf. And the wolf had eaten some chalk. It had some chalk because the wolf used to write like writing on blackboards and drawing with chalk. And he'd eaten some chalk, so its voice was all sort of white and fluffy. Oh, it's only me. I've got some treats for you. Oh, I love treats, said grandmother. Aren't you ill? Said the wolf. Yes, but I still love treats. Shut up. Anyway, so the wolf stood at the door and the grandmother opened the door, and the wolf immediately went one mouthful, gobbled up the grandmother. And then snuck into the grandmother's bed and put on the grandmother's glasses and the grandmother's little hat, which it spat out. Then, about 5 minutes later, knock, 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 knock. Come in. Who is it? Come in, come in. It's me, grandmother. said Little Red Riding Hood. "I've come with some treats from Mamma. Mamma said you like these treats. Oh, come in, little girl." It was all dark in the room, but Little Red Riding Hood opened the window, opened the door, walked in through the door, and she knew that Grandmother didn't really like light much because she only had candles, but all the curtains were shut. She said, "Shall I open the curtains?" "No, don't. My eyes are a bit sore. It's part of the illness. My eyes are very sore." "Okay." She walked to the bed, and then she noticed it was a bit peculiar. She said, "Grandmother, what big eyes you have." "Oh, all the better to see you with, my child, Little Red Riding Hoodie." "Oh, and Grandmother, what big ears you have." "Oh, all the better to hear you with, my Little Red Riding Hoodie." "And Grandmother, what big teeth you have." "All the better to gobble you up with." And then the wolf jumped out of the bed and gobbled up Little Red Riding Hood. But Little Red Riding Hood didn't give up without a fight. She got the basket and smashed it on the wolf's head really hard. Whack, 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 3 times. So the wolf scampered backwards, and then the wolf grabbed a chair and threw the chair at Little Red Riding Hood, and the chair threw her across the room like this, and she screamed, "Ah, help!" But the wolf was too fast. Gobbled her up. But Little Red Riding Hoodie, her father, was a lumberjack. Do you know what that means? He was like a tree surgeon. Not a lumberjack, a tree surgeon. So he used to go in trees and chop them down. And he was in the woods, just by chance, mending some trees that were ill and cutting some branches off. And he had just turned his chainsaw off. And then he thought he heard a scream. "Oh, that was a funny sound," said Little Red Riding Hoodie's dad. "That was a really strange sound. I wonder what that was." And then he thought, "Oh, do you know what? That came from Grandmother's house. That's my wife's mother's house. I'd better go and check." So luckily he turned the chainsaw off, but he went down the tree that he was in, and he walked over to the house, and there he opened the door, and he saw the wolf lying there like this, big and bloated, because it had a great big grandmother inside and a great big Little Red Riding Hood, Little Red Riding Hoodie inside. And the father said, "What have you been doing? What have you been eating?" And the wolf said, "Oh, yummy, yummy, Little Red Riding Hoodie and her grandmother." And actually the wolf was also eating the goodies. So it had sort of blueberries in its teeth and bits of cream on its nose. And it had drunk the lemonade. So there was like an empty glass by the wolf. "Oh, I'm really happy now. I'm full." "I'm sorry," said Little Red Riding Hoodie's dad. "I don't like you." And he got the chainsaw and he pulled the chain. And he ran over to the wolf. And with one thing, he quickly cut the wolf over perfectly. And the wolf went and died. And he opened the wolf's tummy. And inside was the grandmother, still okay, bit headache. And Little Red Riding Hoodie, still in her Red Riding Hoodie. But it was very, very red now because it was full of like blood and things like that. So he got them out and they said, "Yeah, we're free, whoopee-doo." And then the 3 of them, the daddy and Little Red Riding Hoodie and her grandmother, they sat down and they had like a picnic with what was left of the lemonade, and they had the rest of the little cakes, and they had some of the grapes as well. But some of the grapes the wolf had eaten and some it had put in its ears, because this was a crazy wolf, and sometimes the wolf used to really like having grapes in its ears, so he put grapes in his ears. So they didn't take the grapes out of the wolf's ears, they left those ones, forgot about them, and the other ones they just gobbled up all the lovely nice things, and then they all went home happily ever after. They got the wolf, buried it, nice little burial, said a little prayer, "Bye bye Wolfie," and that was the end of the story. That was Little Red Riding Hoodie and her grandmother in the picnic, and her father with the chainsaw. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the story, because it was a good one, wasn't it? Leave a like, leave a dislike, whatever.